All right. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good. So now that we've covered the components of being right, let's answer the question, the most important question. Why do we always think we're right? All right. So, why do we always think that? The feeling of being right is deeply rooted in our psychology. It's not just about being stubborn or opinionated, it's more complex. Let's think about it. When we believe we're right, it often feels reassuring. It aligns with our sense of self and our understanding of the world around us. This perception is comforting, but it can also blind us to other perspectives. It's important to remember that our need to be right can sometimes overshadow the truth. Say that again. It is important to remember that our need to be right can sometimes overshadow the truth. This need is driven by our ego, our identity, and our desire to protect our sense of self worth. So, again, that's the mind. That's the desire to want to protect our ego. And we all know about ego, we all know about our identity. So, we are doing this to feel good. We want to feel great all the time. No one really wants to feel bad purposefully. Now, there are some conditions or ways of thinking where people do enjoy feeling bad or feeling negative or existing in negativity or existing in chaos, right? There are times when people do feel that way. But most of the times, you want to feel good, okay? As we explore this topic further, let's remain open to understanding why we cling to being right and how recognizing this tendency can lead to personal growth and better decision making. I do it all the time now. I catch myself in conversations and it happens so fast. Before you know it, you will be in a conversation where you are trying your best to be right. Someone could say, "Oh, that restaurant closed about a year ago." You'd be like, "No, no, I thought I saw it 6 months ago." No, no, it was a year ago. No, 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 I'm pretty sure, man, because I pull out my phone. I'm pretty sure I looked at it and it was about 6 months ago. My friend. Oh, you're right. It was a year ago. It was a year ago. I was wrong. But I just exchanged 500 words with a human about me being wrong. And why did I even care enough to want to be right? Because it felt good. Because it feels good. It's self-validating. It shows me, "Hey, Kevin, you're right. You're smart. You're intelligent. You pay attention." And I take that in this self-validation. Okay? All right. So, why we always think we're right? Ego protection. So, first, consider the role of your ego. Your ego essentially your sense of self-worth. That's basically what it is. When confronted with being wrong, it can feel like a personal attack on your identity. I see this all the time. People do not like to feel wrong. A lot. Like some people will go as far as they can to not feel wrong. And I ask, what's so wrong with being imperfect? What's so wrong with being flawed in your knowledge or in your education? You even if you had the access to every piece of available knowledge known to man and then some, the unknown, you wouldn't be able to handle it and remember it anyway. So what's so wrong with being wrong knowing that you exist in a certain level of ignorance? Why did you have to win? Why couldn't that person have that? Why did your why did it turn into an ego contest where you just had to have it and it was really nothing? I want you to think about that. The petty stuff that we fight for, the petty angles and the petty validations and all of these things to protect our ego, to feel good. Again, we always think we're right because it feels good. All right. So take the example of an executive who launches a failing project. Instead of admitting the mistake, they might deflect the blame onto external factors like the market may not be ready, or this is their ego trying to shield them from feeling like a failure. So there's another one. No one wants to feel like a failure, even in the face of failure. So admitting a mistake can threaten your self image. And that discomfort is something our psyche tries to avoid. The key takeaway here is that our need to protect our ego often leads us to cling to the idea that we're right. It's a defense mechanism to maintain our self-esteem and identity. All right, confirmation bias. All right. Imagine someone who firmly believes vaccines are harmful. They might search for stories that back up their belief while ignoring solid scientific evidence that shows vaccines are safe. This is a natural human tendency where our minds cherry pick information to reinforce what we already think, avoiding anything that makes us uncomfortable. You see how hard your mind is working to protect you, and we just have to align it in a la carte, the way that we want it, the exact way that we want it. Right now, we haven't been paying attention to the way that it's been operating and the actual little processes that it's doing to operate, that it has gotten to a point that it is an autopilot. It assumes you haven't said anything, so these things are okay to continue to think this way or move this way. So that's what it's doing. It's protecting us. But we haven't audited the processes, and that's what we're doing now. We're going through and we're going to look at confirmation bias. All right. So now to help you go get a deeper understanding, now let's consider why this happens. Why, we have this natural human tendency where our mind cherry picks information to reinforce what we already think, avoiding anything that makes us feel uncomfortable. Wrong would make us feel uncomfortable. So why does this happen? Our minds are wired to maintain psychological stability. Okay? They're wired for you to feel good. Imagine if your brain didn't have that. You feel like crap. And there are maybe groups of people amongst us that have those issues where they just can't maintain that happiness or maintain that psychological stability. I've seen it as well. Imagine that if your brain wasn't able to do that for you. So it's fighting hard for you, but it's been programmed unconsciously. It's unconsciously programmed, or it's been involuntarily programmed by you over the years by not paying attention to these little processes. All right. So we subconsciously filter reality to avoid emotional discomfort, even if it means holding on to incorrect beliefs. This tendency is about protecting ourselves emotionally, which can be at odds with objective truth. In summary, confirmation bias is about seeking comfort in the familiar and avoiding the unsettling challenge of changing our minds. It's a fascinating aspect of human psychology that affects us all. All right, so let's explore why we think we're right and how it ties into our emotional well-being. Feeling right often gives us a sense of emotional stability, even when the logic behind it is flawed. The key point here is emotional safety. Imagine someone in a relationship that's clearly unhealthy. Deep down, they recognize that their partner is emotionally abusive. Yet they convince themselves with thoughts like, my partner loves me, they're just stressed. Why do they do this? Because accepting the truth would mean facing a painful emotional confrontation and the uncertainty that comes with it. Their psyche opts for comfort over truth, maintaining emotional certainty even when logic says otherwise. Believing we're correct feels reassuring and safe. It provides us with emotional certainty, a comfort blanket, if you will, even when it does not align with reality. All right, so our emotions, again, that's another part of our brain just trying to make us feel good, just taking this human experience and making sure that it is protecting us based off our experiences and the things that it has recorded that makes us uncomfortable or unhappy. Okay. Next up, social validation. Have you ever noticed how being right in a group can make you feel valued and respected? This isn't just about feeling good, it's about social validation. When others agree with us, it often reinforces our sense of worth. All right. Consider a teenager who bullies a peer to impress friends. Although they know bullying is wrong, the validation they receive from friends makes it feel right. Those friends may validate with respect. They may validate by putting you in a position of leadership or putting that person. Now they all know that bullying is wrong, but they like the attention that they're getting. They like their social status or social position from whatever that they're doing that may be wrong, and it's still being supported though socially. So as we move up these social hierarchies, our friendships and different things like that, some people are willing to do anything to be to feel a sense of validation, to feel a sense of verification that these people like me, or these people support me, or these people have my back, right? A lot of people do that. Now, our psyche often prioritizes that immediate social validation over standing up for what's ethically correct. So, our psyche is going to prioritize social validation over standing up for what's ethically correct. The ethical thing here to do is someone is being bullied that may not be able to defend themselves or whatever. The ethical thing to do here is to not allow this thing to happen. But I could gain 300 followers if I do this thing. Look at the internet, look at YouTube, I want you all to look at YouTube, and I want you to see how extreme it has become for some creators, what they're willing to do to get your attention, to get your likes, to get your subscriptions, to feel validated, to get that social validation. I want you to start paying attention to that. You will see people doing some extreme, unethical things, immoral things, just to get your eyes to watch them. And again, this is when you're programmed like that, when every time you open your YouTube app, you've been looking at chaos and all of this crazy stuff for so long that now you're getting something, you're interested in it now. So you're going to look at these different things, and you may see a creator doing something immoral or unethical, but you still watch it. You still give your time to it because you haven't checked that process that allows you to put filth into your mind, or and again, I'm not any different. I watch YouTube, I watch whatever pops up sometimes, right? But still, it puts that into our mind that, oh, this is okay. And that person who did that immoral or unethical thing gains social validation. That's just one example. There are plenty, but that's just one. All right. When people agree with us, it feels like a powerful affirmation of our beliefs, even if it means ignoring the truth. Our minds crave social acceptance, sometimes at the expense of reality. Now, how often do we let the desire for praise and acceptance override our better judgment? I want you to think about that. Identity attachment. So, our beliefs are not just thoughts we hold, they are parts of who we are. Challenging these beliefs can feel like challenging our very essence. This makes sense as to why we might react defensively when our beliefs are questioned. Consider someone raised in a family with strong religious convictions. Even when they encounter evidence that contradicts these teachings, they might defensively dismiss or even attack opposing views. For them, it's not just an intellectual debate, it's about protecting their identity. All right? The logic here is compelling. Our core beliefs shape our identity. When these are challenged, it feels like an attack on our self concept, prompting defense reactions. It's natural, albeit complex, psychological response. As we move forward, let's think about how we can approach our beliefs with openness, understanding that it's a process to balance identity attachment with the desire to explore new perspectives. Okay? So, using that religious example, when we're taught principles or things that we've learned from our upbringing that maybe our grandmother learned or our grandfather learned or our mother learned, and these things are dear to us. So the mere thought of them ever being wrong, knowing that these important people hang on to these things, could trigger us, could put us in a position of identity attachment where we're not able to identify the objective truth in the situation. All right.